Good morning, dear students. So today we will see what do we mean by loop and what are looping constructs or loop control statements. Okay, as we know, the statement from written computer program executes sequentially from top to bottom. However, it is necessary for the programmer to execute certain block of statements repeatedly till certain condition satisfies while solving complex problem by using a machine and is possible by loop control statements. The loop statements are also called as iterative statements. So what does it mean? It means that the program executes the statements sequentially from top to bottom, and sometimes we may have to repeat certain set of statements again and again depending on some condition till the condition satisfies. We want to repeat the step of statements repeatedly. So to perform that, we are going to use loop statements. Just a minute. And this is possible by loop control statements. So we have certain statements called loop control statements which perform iteration of certain steps of programming statements. So let's have a look which are those. So C provides three types of loop statements. They are the while loop, the do while loop and the for loop. Now all these three loop statements, they are going to execute depending on certain condition. So these conditions are checked. For the while loop, it is checked before it enters the loop. That's why we call it as pre-testing. And do while loop, it is tested after entering into the loop, that is post loop. So and in for loop, here also it is pre-tested, that is before entering the loop. So while and for loop, these two check the condition before entering the loop, whereas do while, it enters the loop and it checks the condition before exiting the loop. Right. Now we shall have a look. Let's have a look on the while loop. It is one of the entry controlled loop statement. It repeats the given true block of statements repeatedly till the given condition is true. Whenever the condition becomes false, then loop terminates. What does it mean? This while loop, it checks the condition first, that is we have here the given in the expression as expression. It checks the condition first, that is before entering the loop. If the condition is true, then it will enter the loop block. Okay. And this goes on repeating until the condition is true. Once the condition becomes false, when this condition becomes false, if this condition becomes false, then it will come out of the loop, as you can see here in the flow chart. Okay, now what is the syntax for that? The syntax is while expression is true, then the body of the while loop is given. Whatever is written inside this body of the while, that block gets executed. Okay. How long this will happen? As long as this expression is true. This set of statements that are written within the body of the while loop go on repeating. Okay. So let's see here. What happens? So let's see what happens when the expression becomes false. When the expression becomes false, the statement that comes next to the while body or just after the while body gets executed. Okay. Now, in the above syntax, the given expression will be checked for true or false. If it is true, then loop statements are executed repeatedly until the condition becomes false. So, we shall see an example, then we will understand. Let's say if I ask you to say, hello world. Yeah, tell hello world 10 times. Yes, please tell hello world 10 times. Yes, hello, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. So what you are doing? Each time you are telling hello world, you are also counting whether you have told it or not. That is, you are imagining that you have 10 fingers. Since I had asked you to tell 10 times hello world, you have imagined yourself that you have 10 fingers, and whenever you say hello world, you just go on reducing one finger from your hand. That is, you just reduce the count one by one, or you can say you are going to increase the count as you have said one, you have said twice, you have said thrice, you have said 4 times, 5 times, like that. So in programming also it is the same way. We said hello world as long as I went on folding my fingers one by one. That is, I just counted up to 10, right? Each time I said hello world, I just counted my finger as once, twice, thrice, same way. Here also we are going to check how many times we have repeated the statement. So let's see a program here. The program is to display hello world message for 10 times. So to do that, I am taking here a while loop. So let's see the same program using while loop, do while, as well as for loop. First is we will take while loop. So as we start the program with include stdio.h, as I'm going to use printf here, and I'm going to use include conio.h as I'm going to use clear screen. Okay, and my program starts with void main opening and closing brace, right? So all these things we already know. Now I'm going to use an integer I, so that I can count how many times I have repeated the loop. So we call it as a counter. And after clearing the screen, initially I am initializing the value of I to be equal to 1. And now in the while loop I am writing the expression as is this I less than or equal to 10. Since I am supposed to repeat the statement 10 times, I am saying it as it is equal to, less than or equal to 10. Now as I is 1, is 1 less than 10? Yes. Then it says enter the loop. So this is the body of the loop, the opening and closing brace. Whatever we are going to write within this body is going to be repeated. Okay, now it will enter the loop. It will print the statement hello world. Now after printing the hello world, since I have printed once, so my count has to increment by 1. So I is equal to I plus 1 I do, so that my count which was I was equal to 1. Now already once I have printed, so for the second time I will become 1 plus 1. So that is the second time I am supposed to print. Okay. Now this when the body of while loop is executed, so it will not go to the next statement. That next statement is get ch. It will not go to the next statement. Why? Because it will go back again to the beginning of the while. So here it is going to check again the condition, is I less than or equal to 10. I is now what? Or I is 2. So is 2 less than or equal to 10? Is it true or false? Yes, it is true. Now as long as this condition is true, it has to perform repetition of the while body. Okay, so again it will enter the body of the while loop. So again it will say print hello world. So the second time hello world is printed. Now after printing hello world, I will be again incremented by I is equal to I plus 1. Now earlier I was 2, now 2 plus 1, now it will become 3. So now 3 is going to be checked with 10. So it will go back to the beginning of the loop. It will check, is I less than 10 less than or equal to 10. Now I value is 3. 3 is less than or equal to 10. Yes, true. Then it will enter the body of the loop. Right. Now again there is a print statement inside the body of the loop. It will print hello world. So 3 times it has printed hello world. Now after printing hello world, it is supposed to increment the value of I. So I was 3 now. Now it becomes 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. Right. Now again it will go back to the beginning of the while loop and it will check, is the value of I less than or equal to 10. So what was the value of I? Value of I is now 4. It will check, is 4 less than or equal to 10? Yes, true. Enter the body of the loop. Right. So again it will print hello world for the 4th time. Right. So after printing, there is a statement which says I is equal to I plus 1. So I was 4, now it will become 5. So every time before coming out of the loop, it is going to check the condition at the beginning of the while loop. Is 5 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. So again it will enter the body of the loop. It will print hello world. This is the 5th time it is printing. Now after printing, it will increment I value by 1. I was 5. Now it will become 6. Right. Now again it will go to the beginning of the loop. That is, it will check the expression. Is the expression less than or equal to, is the count less than or equal to 10? So I was 6. Is 6 less than or equal to 10? Yes. Then it will print hello world. This is the 6th time that it is printing. Right. Now again, I will become I plus 1. So I value was 6. 6 plus 1 will become 7 now. Now again it will go back and it will check the condition. Is I less than or equal to 10? Now the value of I is 7 this time. Is 7 less than or equal to 10? Yes, true. If it is true, then it has to print hello world. So it will print hello world. So this is the 7th time that it is going to print. Now before it goes back to the beginning of the loop, the value of I is incremented. This time it becomes 7 plus 1, which is equal to 8. So again it will go to the beginning of the loop. It is going to check here, is I less than or equal to 10? That is 8 less than or equal to 10? Yes, it is true. So again it will print hello world. So this is the 8th time it is going to print. So after printing, inside the body of the loop we have I is equal to I plus 1. So it has to perform 8 plus 1, which is equal to 9. Right. So it will go to the beginning of the loop here. It is going to check, is I less than or equal to 10 condition. This condition is checked each time. So 9 less than or equal to 10. Yes. Then print hello world. Right. So this is the 9th time that it is printing hello world. Again the value of I is incremented by 1. So 9 plus 1, it becomes 10. Now again it will go to the beginning of the loop and it is going to check the condition, is I less than or equal to 10? Now what value of I is 10? Is 10 less than or equal to 10? If I had written only less than, then this condition would have become false. But since I have written less than or equal to, the condition is still true. So it will print hello world for the 10th time. Then the value of I is incremented by 1. Now it becomes 10 plus 1 is equal to 11. So again it will go to the beginning of the loop. It is going to check the condition, is I less than or equal to 10? Now the value of I is 11. Is 11 less than or equal to 10? Now this time the condition is false. Now when the condition is false, it will come out of the loop and it will start executing the next statement that is written. So next statement is get ch and end of the main program. I hope you understood how the while loop executes. Similar to the above program, we are going to write a different program wherein we are going to display numbers 1 to 10. Instead of printing hello world, if I just change the statement as print the number I in the while body, it is going to print number 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of print hello world. The rest of the program is same, only the body of the while loop, I have just changed the print statement from print hello world to print the number I. Right? It will print right from 1 to 10 the value of I. Similar to that, we have here to display 1 to n numbers. Here we are not restricting it to 10. Instead of 10, I am saying n numbers. If I say n numbers, it means that I am going to ask the user to enter the number. Right? So we have written here, enter the number. So that number I am scanning it as n. And this I am putting it in the while expression, that is while condition. Instead of saying I less than 10, now I will say I less than or equal to n. So n can be 50, n can be 100, n can be whatever the user has entered. Now here we have taken n as 100. So as long as I is less than or equal to 100, what I am supposed to do, I am saying repeat the statement, that is print I. So it is going to print right from 1 to 100. Right? So 100 times the loop is going to be repeated. Same way, I can add some more lines to the same program. In this program, we am saying to find sum of 1 to n numbers. So we were printing the n numbers. Now instead of just printing the numbers, I am going to find the sum of n numbers. So inside the loop, I am just using a variable called sum, and initially the sum value we are taking it as 0, and each time the loop executes, I am just going on adding the value of I to sum, and I am storing it back to sum. So it means it is going to add all the n numbers till the condition is true. Now once it comes out of the loop, I am going to say print the sum. Similarly, I can also write the program to find the sum and average of the numbers, that is 1 to n numbers. So same program we can just modify here. Now we had used to find the sum is equal to sum plus I in the while body, that is in the iteration. Now once it comes out of the iteration, we are just going to find the average. Now in this, I am going to use avg equal to float sum divided by n, as what is the average? Average is nothing but sum divided by the total number of values. So we are going to typecast here by using float, because we know that whenever I divide a number by another number, the value can be a fractional value. So I want to retain those fractional parts. So I am going to typecast it as float, because I had declared sum as integer value. So we can say print sum as well as average. Right? So the same program I have modified here. The hello world program became displaying 10 numbers 1 to 10. Then it became 1 to n numbers. Then it became to find sum of 1 to n numbers. And lastly, we had used the same program to find sum and average of 1 to n numbers. Right? So there are some more examples as to find sum of even, odd and all the numbers with average of 1 to n numbers.